All right, welcome everyone to the Elimination Round 3 press conference for the 2018 Challenge Select. And today's champion, Mr. Chris Lane. Chris, welcome and
Thank
congratulations.
You. Thank you very much.
So, probably a good feeling being back in here. You had a hot first event with MLF at the 2017 Summit Select last year. Not as hot in the Challenge Select. And then you've had a decent year this year, and today you're the champion. So how does that feel to have that kind of trajectory, and what is it telling you about this format versus how you normally fish?
Well, it's exciting to be here, of course. Being from, the thing with the score tracker and the thing from my last event to now, you go from, pretty much breaking a rod over a trolling motor to, you're sitting at the press conference because you just won the elimination round. That's the nature of the sport, and you got to stay positive and, stay in the moment. Know that each event that you come to is a new day, and trying to get out of a slump that I've been in has been one that I've been waiting on, and this felt really good.
Talk to me a little bit about pressure, like coming into this particular point in the year and this particular event. I mean, did you feel a fair amount of it?
I felt the pressure of, I didn't want to get knocked out. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I was on the verge of getting knocked out because I've had such bad finishes. I won that one and then two horrible finishes, and then, back here again. So the pressure was there a little bit, but, every bite and every step that you move up on the score tracker and every pound that you catch, and fortunately today, leading and then catching a pound and a half, and then catching a 3-pounder, and then catching a 2.5. Those really get the momentum going, and the pressure just kind of goes to ease once you kind of know you've made that elimination cut, because that's worth a lot of points. And then I really wanted to lead it all the way, leading after the first period, second period, and then into the third period. And they were coming hard in that third period, and I knew that I needed to catch one or two more to seal the deal.
You said a while ago that every event and every day is a new day. How will you change your setup as you go into sudden death?
I've got some line that I need to change in the sense of poundage, because I had a lot of heavy line on. I think there was some spots and some areas today where if I had some smaller line, I probably would have tried to fish a little bit different. Not knowing, where we're going to end up. I mean, we're in South Carolina, and you can go to flipping 50-pound braid and an 1.5 ounce weight to throwing a 6-pound test drop shot. So it's one of those things where I'm going to have everything rigged up, and not knowing where we're going to go, I'll be ready for it.
Chris, have you had any experience on this lake or in this area before?
I have. I finished well here in events in the past. I would say I've fished here twice, I believe, in the past 12 or 13 years. I think it's probably been 5 years since we've been here. The section of the lake that we fished today was actually a section that I fished, and I started where I had taken my son after, we were I was camping with the family, and I went over there, and that's where I was going to start. Now, needless to say, I didn't catch any fish there. But it was neat to be back in that moment, to be back in, my son's 15 now, so when he was like 8, I think is when he was out here with me. So it's a big difference, coming out here and having a little bit of familiarity with the body of water. But the places that, I did very well, I couldn't get to because, of course, of the boundaries that we had.
Good job again, Chris. How did this lake fish from the normal lakes you usually fish across the United States?
Well, this is June, and I think one of the biggest things when you're coming into an event such as South Carolina, Lake Murray, Santee Cooper, Moultrie, Merriam, all those lakes, they're gonna fish, pretty similar when it comes to June in clear water. One of the things that we've dealt with over the past is a lot of rain and a lot of muddy water out in the Arkansas, Hot Springs area, Oklahoma. In the south, being from the south, it can rain as much as it wants, and the water's hardly ever going to get dirty because the ground it soaks up the rain, and therefore you're going to have, if you've got vegetation in the lake, you're going to have clear water for the most part. So, kind of fishing your strengths, top water, and fishing some docks, and just kind of milling around and kind of putting a little bit of pattern together. The good thing about South Carolina lakes is you can pattern them, and that's what I tried to do today.
Let me ask you this then, what were your primary baits and patterns today?
I used a whopper plopper, a rover, and I threw a shaky head, and the shaky head really it caught some nice fish. It kept that momentum going when the topwater bite had died off. And when that dies off like that, you got to have something else to go to. I mean, the score tracker was just boom, 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 boom for that first hour and a half, and then it went completely dead. That's when I picked up the shaky head and was able to catch, a 3.5 pounder and some twos, and kind of kept waiting on the fish to start biting again.
You mentioned the word momentum, so let's expand that beyond just the momentum of today into like the entire week. So it's kind of crazy sport. Like last event, momentum was down here, and now you seem like you're kind of moving this way. Is it important or is it not?
Oh, it's very important. My whole year's kind of been like that. So when you get that momentum and when you start getting back, going in the right direction, you start to make decisions, doing this for so long, you start to make decisions that you used to make when you were doing well. And instead of, if you're always, staying at the bottom and there's no momentum, therefore you're gonna stay, doing things that you would normally do, trying to make things change. When you can get on a body of water like this and actually, put your strengths together and really start to, get things rolling, and when those wheels start turning, that's when everything from the past starts to kick in with what decisions to do, what to make, how do you win the event.
Chris, you had a 5 pound cushion over everybody else, but 2 through 7 was only separated by 1 pound 3 ounces. Did you follow what they was doing, or did you just put your head down and fish?
I mean, how do you not? I mean, you're hearing it in the back, and then they would get within 14 ounces. They would get within 1.5 pounds, and I would keep saying, man, fish hard. You need to catch 1.5 pounds. You need to catch a 3. You need to catch a 2, and just staying with it. And then I didn't really get involved in the 2nd to 4th place as far as in my mind. I was still focused on staying where I was, and that's where my focus was in order to catch more. I had to catch a couple more fish in order to stay where I was at.
And following up with that, you said you didn't really pay attention from 2nd down, but it had to weigh on your mind that they could catch a 3 or 4 pounder and catch up with you. So what would you think? Was you ever thinking the flurry could come again?
That's exactly what I was thinking in that 3rd period. And when Michael Neal started making a run, Casey Ashley was making a heck of a run in that 2nd period. I thought for sure he was going to come on real strong. When they would get close, when things would, the average fish I kept hearing was 1.5 to 2.5 pounder. But I knew that there was 4s. I know there's 6s. I know there's a bunch of big fish in that lake. So when it comes to that 5 pound cushion, that's what it was at the end. But throughout the day, when they would get close, just like I would grind a little harder, and then I would catch a 2.5 or a 2 pounder, and it put me back up to 2 or 3 pounds. But they were getting close. I mean, yeah, because I didn't want to fall to 2nd place. I mean, I know that you advance on, but I mean, I wanted to win the event.
We've got a slight weather change that's going to happen overnight in the morning, first thing in the morning. Does that influence you at all, you think, or what does that mean?
Weather change being...
It's going to rain.
It's been raining.
Versus today. Versus
right.
today.
Not having to fish tomorrow is going to be good because you get to see, how much rain actually comes down. Depending on where we go, if there's creeks where the water runs in, you're going to be looking for stuff like that because, if we get a lot of rain, we've had good rain. It hasn't been heavy. It's just been rain. And, if you can get those creeks to start flowing, the good thing about fishing in the south, when it rains, the fish bite. The water temperature drops, and it's been hot. I mean, it's been hot here, so when you see water temperatures go from, say, 80 or 85 down to, I think it was 77 today, and it might even dropped a little more. I wasn't paying attention to it. Those fish get aggressive. The shallow fish get aggressive because it's been so hot. They feed in the morning, and then they'll feed later on. But when it's raining, overcast like it was today, I mean, you can stick with top water and change it up a little bit throughout the day. If you get a lot of rain, it's going to create more current. The water's going to be a little cooler. The fish are going to bite a little better, hopefully.
Chris, one last question. With the change this year to the cup format, where we have these elimination rounds followed by sudden death, followed by a championship, we're going to a cut weight in the next round. Where do you think that cut weight's going to be set? How are you going to prepare for that kind of different game that we're going to be playing for sudden death? And how does that kind of affect your preparation in general?
Well, the cut weight, to me, do we know that before we take off, what the cut weight is?
Before you take off, but
Yeah.
not now.
Right. So, you put the cut weight in your mind, but most importantly, you put the 6 anglers that I'm going to be fishing against. That's who's going to go into my mind first, and then it'll be the cut weight second, because I know if I can beat all of those guys, then I'm going to be okay. Or if I can beat one guy, I'm going to be okay. So I do know that, no matter what the cut weight is. So, that's kind of my focus in that.
When I said that was my last question, this is actually my last question.
Okay.
How many stripers did you catch today?
I did not catch a striper today.
Oh, okay.
Lake Murray's full of them. It's a fantastic place to catch giant striper. The one thing about it is you have to stay away from fish and bait that the striper is going to get it 99% of the time. I mean, if they want it, they're going to get it, and that's staying out on the deeper water. That's staying out off the main channel. And if you think about it, if you go out there, your risk versus reward is very great. But the way the score, that's what's so neat about the score tracker, was I was able to kind of follow along. You would hear the lulls in it, and that's when you're kind of like, okay, a 2-pounder's good. You don't have to go out there and fish in 18, 20 foot of water trying to catch a 6 or 7 pounder.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on your win today. Good luck in sudden death. Today's Elimination Round 3 2018 Challenge Select Champion, Chris Lake.
Thank you very much.